This is chapter 8-2. Please copy your cuts. There's one section in 8-2 that will not be on the video, the geometric means. It will be on the test, so we will discuss it in class. Let's quickly remember that there were 3 proportional ratios that we talked about of equivalence. We took at the cross product. Number 2, the second property was a reciprocal, and the third one was when we have if A over B is equal to C over D, then that means that we can switch the B and the C. Okay? We switch the B and the C such that we get A over C is supposed to be equal to B over D. So if A over B is equal to C over D, then we can also say that A over C will still be equal to B over D. And the new property for today is property 4. If A over B is equal to C over D, we can also say that A plus B over B is going to be equal to C plus D over D. So the denominator will be added to the numerator, in the numerator only. Okay? So I have A where it says A over B. Now I'm saying A plus the denominator still over the same denominator B, which is rewritten here. And then the C over D, if I add the denominator in the numerator, I get C plus D over the original denominator D. Okay? Let's do some comparing here and see if we can determine a few things. In your book, please use it. In 8-2, tell the statements below are true. If I have P over 6 is equal to R over 10, then is P over R equal to 3 over 5? Well, what does that property look like? Does that look like property 1? Does it look like we did cross multiplication here? Does it look like property 2? Did we do the reciprocal where 6 is in the numerator? 6, does this look like 6 over P is equal to 10 over R? No, that doesn't look like property 2, so that doesn't work. Does this look like property 3 where we do A over B and then we switch the B and the C here? Well, it kind of looks like this property 3 to me. And I'm going to show you why I think it's property 3. It definitely does not look like property 4 where we add the denominator in the numerator. Okay? So here we have, first of all, if I go P over, and I switch these two, P over R is equal to, because this is property, I'm saying this is property 3. That's my guess. So P over R is equal to 6 over 10. Well, immediately when I look at this 6 over 10, I say to myself, that can be simplified. That can be simplified to 3/5. So if I rewrite this, that's simply going to say P over R equals 3/5. That 6/10 wasn't simplified. So yes, this is true. This looks like property number 3. Okay? Property number 3, remember property 3 says we switch the B and the C. And that's exactly what we did. We switched B and C. A and D stayed in the same position. Let's look at another example. On this next example, we have here, if A over 3 is equal to C over 4, then A plus 3 is equal to C plus 3 over 4. Well, which property does that look like? Does that look like cross product? No. Does it look like property 1? Does it look like property 2? What's property 2 say? It's the reciprocal. That means it will be 3 over A equals to 4 over C. Doesn't look like the reciprocal to me. Now what about property 3 when I switch the B and the C? So C should be in the denominator and 3 should be in the numerator. That doesn't look like that's property number 3 either. It does to me look like property number 4. Okay? And property number 4, this is my guess. I'm going to check it out. Property 4 says this should be A plus B over B equals C plus D over D. Well, let's see here. A plus the denominator, or A plus B, yep, over B. That works out. It looks great. And then C plus the denominator. Well, the denominator is 4. That means that this should have been 4. So no. This particular example, number 2, is not property 1, it's not property 2, it's not property 3, and it's not property 4. So this one is a false statement. This is not going to work. These are not proportions. Okay? Let's look at an example. You're going to look at your book on page 466, it's example number 3. Suppose I'm given these triangles, and there are actually 3 triangles. I see triangle ABC. I see triangle A, D, E to be on here. Actually, 2 similar triangles, excuse me. If I'm looking at this triangle, let's suppose I need the value of X on these 2 triangles here. Well, I know that these are proportional. ABC is some number. It might be 2 times smaller. It might be 1 time smaller. It might be a half time smaller. I don't know. But I know ABC is smaller than ADE. It's just some number smaller. But they're proportional. All right. What if I say here, I need an equal sign in here. AB is the non-proportional side is BD. AB corresponds to BD. So I'm doing this small one over here over this larger one. And if I'm doing small over large, S over L, then I want to stay small over large. That means this side should also be small over large. So AB corresponds to this section BD on the larger triangle. That means that AC has to correspond to what? CE on the larger triangle. Okay? So that's why I have AC, and I have it over corresponding to the little bitty small portion CE on the larger triangle. Okay? Quickly again, I'm going to review really fast. I chose to do small over large, so I'm going to stay small over the large. And that's why I said AB is my smaller triangle, and it corresponds on the large triangle to this side BD. There it is. Therefore, if I call out AC, it has to be written as CE. I cannot put BC because BC does not correspond to AC. As a matter of fact, if I ask you, on the small triangle BC, if I'm doing small over large, what does BC correspond to on the large? BC corresponds to DE. That means that DE would have to be in the denominator, and I'm not referencing those. But this would be what you use. BC will correspond to DE. But now back to this problem here. So AB, which is the small, corresponds to BD on the larger. And then I'm using AB because I see a number here, and I'm using BD because I'm looking for X. So I know I'm going to have a 16 there and an X there. And then AC over the corresponding CE here. Well, what's AC? I don't see a number for AC. Really easy. If I look carefully, I do know the length of AC. I see the full length AE is 30 and CE is 10. Well, 30 minus 10 means that this has to be 20. So I'm going to know AC is 20 over the corresponding CE, which is 10. So how would I write that? I've got 16 over X equals 20 over 10, because that's the value. I'm doing substitution now. What's the length of AB? It's 16, because I'm looking for X is equal to 20 over 10. AC is 20, CE is 10. By cross multiplication, I'm going to solve it. So 20X equals 160. Here's my 20X. Is equal to 16 times 10, 160. Divide both sides by 20. And X is equal to 10. And there's the first part of your 8, 2.